Hello everybody, and welcome again to my channel. This time I'm making a video to comment about a video that was posted on Julian Watson's channel, and that video is of Jack Black's interaction with the elders. That's why this episode is going to be hosted by Jack and Julian, because they are the ones to whom the credit goes for this episode. I'm just going to make comments on some of the things the elders say. But first, I just want to say, Jack, you have done an excellent job in the way you handled that matter. Well done. I could never have done as well as you did. So I want to make some comments on some of the things that the elders had said. So after Jack had made a very strong case for the reasons why he's not attending, the elders ask around the 1 hour mark why he stops serving Jehovah because of the situation. He's made a strong case that pedophiles are not being handled properly by the organization. And instead of worrying themselves with that, the elders just want to know why Jack has stopped going to meetings and serving Jehovah. They want him to ignore the fact that children are being abused and go back to an organization that claims to serve Jehovah but allows children to be abused. And this is something that we should all take note of, because this shows 100% how Jehovah's Witnesses think. It does not matter what their organization does. Their organization is, in their mind, always Jehovah's organization, no matter how bad they sin. So, moving forward around the 1:04 mark, you get the idea that it's worse not to go to meetings than to ignore pedophiles. So this is really ironic. If you stop going to meetings because there might be pedophiles there who are abusing people, you would think that that would be the Christian thing to do, not according to the elders. And in 106, one of the elders makes a remark about how salvation depends on how long we have a relationship with Jehovah. I can't find that one in the Bible. Anyways, then at 107, he says that we'll die without instruction from Jehovah's organization. This is the same organization that's harboring pedophiles. And anyways, before I continue, I want to say I really believe the two elders involved here they're doing their best. I believe that they actually really believe that they're serving Jehovah, but I want to point out the fact that they are following the rules and they're following them very well. So I don't think those two men are bad men, but I think that they are under the control of the organization. And I'm making that point because I want people to observe those elders from that standpoint. This is not about judging those elders individually. I think those elders are reporting to somebody and they're doing what they're told to do. And they might not even know this themselves, but that's the case. So when you watch this video, and you should watch this video, please don't judge these elders, but realize this is the organization speaking through those elders. So moving on. So at 1 hour and 9 minutes, one of the elders asks, do you still want to be a witness? To them, the most important thing is they're trying to find a way to kick Jack and his wife Kyla out of the organization. They don't care about all these issues that he's just brought up. They're looking for something where they can have a clean cut and say, Jack's an apostate, Jack's a bad person, we don't care about Jack. Jack does a nice job of getting around that and getting back to the topic. Because what happens here is the elders perceive that they're losing, so they have to bring it to a different level, which is what they do. So Jack asks an excellent question here at 1 hour and 10 minutes. He asks if you should put the Bible above the watchtower. And this puts the elders in a corner. They have to say that you have to follow the Bible. But the point made is stinging, because the elders will have to go back and think about that, or they might not. But whatever. So at 1 hour and 11, I believe this is an elder that makes the point that in the event of child abuse, that the parents would have called the police. However, this is typically not the case. So typically speaking, here's what happens. When an allegation of abuse comes up, the first thing the parents will do, because this is what they are trained to do, is they will go to the elders. If they are truly indoctrinated witnesses, they will go to the elders, and then the elders will start to handle it. And typically speaking, the elders will say it's up to you as to whether or not you call the police. And that being the case, the parents will think, well, this is Jehovah's organization. I don't want to drag them through the mud, so I'm not going to call the police. So most often, the parents won't call the police. If it's a person that's not that heavily indoctrinated, the first thing they probably will do is call the police. So in this particular case, if there's child abuse involved, it is better to be not indoctrinated, then you'll call the police. So moving forward at around an hour and 16 minutes, Jack asks the great question, what about the public? So whatever happens with the congregation, whether they're protected or not, what about the public? If this pedophile is not dealt with by the authorities, they're still at large and they can still do things to the public. Great example by Jack. And so the elder uses an example where the mother takes responsibility. And this mother is to be highly commended for the fact that she took responsibility and contacted the authorities. Because most indoctrinated witnesses, the first thing they would do would be to talk to the elders. So moving forward to around an hour and 19 minutes, the elder acts like informing the public involves exposing the, informing, I can't even read my own notes here. So he involves like exposing or telling people about the pedophile involves exposing the victims. Now, you don't have to expose a pedophile's victims to say that a certain person has done things that are pedophile. You don't have to say, oh, this person abused X, Y, and Z people. You can say, this person has been an abuser. You don't have to expose the victims. So the elder is going way over bounds there. And then 121, an hour and 21 minutes. It says Jack brings out that he wants the policies changed so that we're above reproach as Jehovah's organization. This is a great point. Jack is making the point that he is concerned about Jehovah's name and concerned about the organization. So he wants the policies changed so that people will know to bring these matters to the police. And this is really important because most publishers go directly to the elders with these problems and then they follow the elders' advice. So if the organization said, if their first thing was, if they sent a letter to the elders where they said, if you get an allegation of abuse of children, the first thing you should do is call your local police and have them investigate. And tell the publishers to have them contact the police and have them investigate. That is what the publishers would do, because most publishers will follow the elders' advice. So Jack made an excellent point there, and he did it in such a way that he was demonstrating to the brothers he was doing that in their own interest. So there's nothing they can say about that. So then, moving forward at 122, so the elders say that the people will call the police when they find out about the child abuse, and that was one particular elder. And so the elder's position was that the individuals who hear about child abuse will first call the police and then call the elders. And this may happen sometimes, and to those people who do that, excellent, that's what you should be doing. But for the most part, that is not the way it works. They'll go to the elders first. And the elders, what they'll typically say is it's up to you whether or not you call. But the indoctrinated Jehovah's Witness is keeping in mind that they don't want to drag Jehovah's name through the mud, and bringing a brother or sister to court could drag Jehovah's name through the mud. So typically speaking, they're not going to call the police. So I've got some more notes. I'm trying to decipher them here. So the elder makes the point around a minute 26 that Jehovah's sovereignty is for his name. And this is an important point for all of Jehovah's Witnesses to understand. Jehovah does not care about you at all. All Jehovah cares about is his life. Not his life, his name. And he will do anything for his name, but he will do nothing for you unless it involves his name. He will let you be abused, tortured in the most horrible in the most horrible ways possible, if he thinks it will bring honor to you. So this is their way of dismissing all of the victims of child abuse in such a way that, oh, well, their faithfulness to Jehovah brought honor to Jehovah. What kind of a God is that? And the elder furthers his points by saying, as Jehovah's servants, I forget how he put it, but basically says, you deserve to die. We're sinful, therefore we deserve to die. So this God that Jehovah's Witnesses worship basically views all of Jehovah's Witnesses as worthy of death. And the fact that he gives them something more than that is a blessing to them. So is that really the type of God that you want to worship? One who views you as worthy of death just because just because. Anyways, this video is incredible. If you have not watched it, you will need to watch it. I will post a link below. Jack, you have done an excellent job, and Kyla, well done. And Julian, thank you for posting this video on your channel. This is one of the most powerful videos I have ever watched. Well done.